walk you through how I grew Digital PLR Hub to 40,000 followers and multiple six figures in just 1 year. I'm going to be sharing with you how I went basically from zero, launched a completely new Shopify store to sell digital products, and how we've been able to generate over $200,000 in just the last year and a half, completely organically with just using one single Instagram account. So as you can see, I launched the website in Feb 2024. That was last year. This is when I officially launched, the website, which means that it went live with our first couple of products. And I launched the Instagram account a little bit later in March because I was still testing out some products and figuring out what I wanted to sell on which platform. We have now grown it to over 40,000 followers. I think it's about 43,000 something, if I'm being really, really exact. And the revenue we've generated, as you can see in the time space, is about $200,000, give or take a few more thousands here and there. And how I've been able to do it with Instagram is what I want to share with you here real quick so you can understand the thought process and the way that I've gone about building this, right? So let's talk about why I chose Instagram in the first place. There are really three reasons why I chose Instagram. And number one, it was the fastest to get traction because I knew that if I started a blog now or I went to YouTube or started a podcast channel to grow this business, that would take years and I didn't have years. I wanted to make money ASAP. As many of you might know from, if you've been in my world for a while, I'm an impatient person. I'm always looking for quick ways to do things and more productive ways to do things. Even if this isn't something that happened overnight, it is something that I'm really proud of that I was able to do using just one social media platform. More importantly, my customers are hanging out on Instagram. I already knew this because I had done my research, which I will share with you in the next step. So you can also learn how to do the same. And also, Instagram is free to start for anyone and scale. I mean, there are talks that they might be putting some, subscription models for businesses in order to reach more people. But as of now, that's not been implemented yet. And so I would urge everyone to leverage Instagram as a tool to start making sales and get traffic. Now, the two main formats that I leverage in order to actually make sales, and I'll also give you the reasoning why I did this. So, the first format that I used was Reels, and the main reason why I wanted to use Reels to connect and find and grow my audience is because I wanted to amplify my reach, right? As we all know, Reels is a great way for you to discover new people. If you go on Instagram and you start, searching, I'm sure you have come across many new accounts, creators, and businesses whose reels reached out to you because you had shown an interest in those products or topics, right? So number one, I obviously wanted to find new people who are potentially interested in the products or even in just the industry in general. It's also really, really easy to create a reel once you actually figure out the step-by-step formula that actually converts. It takes me less than 5 minutes to make a reel now because I have this formula that's, basically done and dusted. It's in my muscle memory now after having done thousands of reels. So I pretty much know exactly what to say and how to lay out my reel so that it actually makes people take action. And most importantly, it's something you can actually schedule from your Instagram app or any other app that you're using. I'm someone who doesn't really have a lot of time and I generally like to work less than 2 hours a day. So I always try to find ways to save my time. And that means that I always schedule things in advance and I look for content formats that can be scheduled in advance so that I have other time to focus on other things in the business. Now, one of the formats that I also use in order to grow this account and to make sales is stories. And a lot of you might be wondering, like, why would you use stories, right? The main reason being that stories is where your existing followers are hanging out. That means these people have raised their hand and said, hey, I really want to hear from you. I'm really interested in what you have to say. So tell me more about your business, right? Think about it. How many stories of creators do you follow? You probably follow stories from creators that you absolutely enjoy following or businesses that you absolutely enjoy following. So this can be a really potential place. So this can be a really potent place, to actually, nurture your existing followers and also just share updates with them of new products as well as industry news because, we all want to know what's happening in the industry, right? Now, once I figured out, okay, these are the two main formats that I want to leverage, what did I do next to actually take them from not knowing me all the way to actually making sales, right? How did I actually build this account up? So there are 4 key steps to making sales with Instagram. Step number 1 is to basically understand what you're going to be doing on the platform. So instead of just jumping into creating something that is going to be goalless and that's not really going to convert, we want to take the time to understand who are we even marketing to? Like, who is our audience? Who are my competitors? Like, what do they really want to learn or know from me, right? What are the major pain points of my audience? How can my products help them? What are some existing accounts that are doing well? And most importantly, at this step, you want to figure out, how am I going to be able to stand out from the noise? Like, I don't want to sound like every other marketer out there. So, how am I going to make my account and my product stand out, right? That is what you want to be doing at step one. The key here is that from step one to step three, it's all about amplification and growing your reach. And I'll share with you shortly how that is going to all, connect to each other. So step two is going to be all about, learning how to create content that converts, and what are the elements in each content piece that absolutely must be met, right? So what exactly are the formats that you're going to use? What should each format have that is going to lead you for the best results, right? So the question I asked myself here was, what would be the fastest way to reach the biggest audience size in my niche? And my answer was Reels, right? So I got into figuring out, what are the formats of reels that are currently working well? What do they have in common? How can I adapt that to my niche? Now, this could be formats which are educational, inspirational. This could be something like following trends. You can pick whichever format it is that you like. And inside of Insta Sales Academy, I go a lot deeper into how to create each of these formats specifically with examples, so that you can just, plug and play and quickly create that in your account as well. And once you've figured out what format you're going to be creating, you obviously have to get to work. So you have to start filming the content that you're going to be creating, right? The next step is about optimization. So this is the step where you say, okay, how do I make sure that my reel is actually reaching the right people, right? How do I make sure that I am writing and addressing the correct things in my captions? Do I need to have hashtags? And if yes, which ones are going to be the best ones for me to have? Is there anything else I need to know in order to fast track my speed of content production so that I can actually get the maximum engagement possible? And here is where we use AI. So inside Insta Sales Academy, I walk you through my favorite AI tool. I actually take you through a tutorial of how I automate my own reels with, my own engagement hacks, and how to actually do that in a very, very easy way using a free trial of this tool, right? Once we have done this, the next step really is to sell, right? So, how are we going to make this sale? This is where most people are stuck. This is where most people are confused. This is where most people actually struggle to convert people. Now, the goal really here is to have used step one to step three to actually build an audience which is very, very warm. And what do I mean by warm? Like, warm in the marketing world means an audience that is dying to buy from you, an audience that is engaged, that is loyal, that is excited about your products, that really wants to hang out with you. So you want to be building this community from step one to step three. A lot of people I see, what they do is they will just jump right into sales instead of actually using the time to build the whole, foundation of their account on Instagram. And that's why it's so important to have done the research beforehand, so that you're not doing the wrong things when it comes to growing an account that is for business. Like, it's not really a personal account you're talking about here, right? We're talking about making sales. And making sales is not the same as when you post about your cat or what you did today, right? So at this step, which is the step to sell, you want to be talking and asking yourself, okay, what is the place where my warmest audience or prospects are hanging out, right? And when you think about it, this is going to be your stories and your DMs, right? Why? Because those are the people who are most interested in what you have to say. There's a reason why people who watch our stories are fewer than our followers, because not each and every one of our followers is online every single day, and not each of every one of them actually cares or gives two shits about what your business does. This is also why followers don't equal to sales. And I have seen accounts with 1,000 followers do millions of dollars in sales, and I've seen accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers not even do $100 a month. So followers do not equal, sales, specifically when you're growing an account haphazardly and you don't really have a strategy about how you're growing it, right? So at this stage, you're going to think about, okay, what are the specific types of stories that I can put out that are going to nurture my audience and that are going to help them convert, right? There's a specific number and format that you have to follow here as well to make sure that you have maximum engagement. And I give lots of examples of this and how we've done inside of Insta Sales Academy as well, because I want to make sure that you're able to just quickly plug and play these examples and use them for your own business, right? And obviously, at this stage as well, you want to be thinking about what is the frequency with which I'm going to be posting. So, whether that is a reel or that is a story, like how often do I actually want to show up to make sales, right? And what's doable for you as well. So, I never want you to commit to something that is not going to be doable for you, right? Consistency is better than showing up one day and posting 4 times and then disappearing. So now the key here really is that if you do these 4 steps well, right? It's just 4 steps. It's really simple. If you do them every single day for the next 90 days properly, there is nothing and no one that can stop you and your account from growing, right? And why do I suggest 90 days? I suggest 90 days because your account, first of all, needs data. So Instagram needs to learn who the heck are you and what are you trying to do for it to actually find the right people to match you, right? So Instagram needs to do its job. And in order for it to do its job, you have to provide the data for it to do its job, right? Not only this, I am a firm believer that your first 100 pieces of content are going to suck, so they're just not going to be great. And that's how it is for pretty much every new thing you start in life. If you start playing basketball, probably the first 100 shots that you take are not going to make it, and that's just life, right? So the faster you get over this hump, the better you get and the quicker you see results, right? So this is pretty much the formula that I have used to grow Digital PLR Hub and even my personal brand as well. This formula works for faceless brands as well as non-faceless brands, such as a personal brand. As you can see, I have both of these brands growing and thriving using this pretty much the same strategy that I teach inside of Insta Sales Academy. So if you would like to dive deeper into each of these steps, learn from me, pick my tutorials, pick my brain, and get my support inside of the Facebook group, I'd love to see you inside Insta Sales Academy. Doors are closing tomorrow, so there's just another date for you to go to grab the current price. The next time we restart, the price is going to go up to $497. So this is really the best time for you to get in and grab all the bonuses. I hope to see you there.